Welcome to this Sahara 4 exercise. In this exercise, we will continue from the previous exercise where we associated different colors and symbols to a static attribute, and now we will see those colors and symbols reflected on the map window. So for that, we will go to our Sahara project, and as discussed previously, here in edit variables, we did modify the static attribute um, status, where we assign a number of colors and symbols to the different possible attributes that have been imported. So now we will close, and now we will go to the map window here, go to the configuration on the left, and select objects here. And inside the object tree, we see the object branch. We see that we had this symbols menu here. Here in the symbols menu, in the first submenu, we can see that we have this type, and here we can select none if we want to see any symbol. Static, we'll select a static attribute. Dynamic attribute, we will see in the next exercise what are dynamic attributes and how to use them. And the simulator. The simulator, as we discussed, is going to depend on the layer and time to reflect the changes over time. Here we see that all the wells are unassigned, and here we change to producers and injector over time. And it's also going to depend on the layer to check which different layers are open or closed. For example, here we can see that this object here, I will select objects and see just the visible ones, the selected ones. Visible objects, filter selected. So now we see that, for example, the well D84 is open at the layer 21 that is selected in the layer tab at this date where we are sitting on at the moment. But we can also, as we discussed, use static attributes. So now, if we use static attributes, we can select which attribute we want to see. In this case, we are checking on status. That is the one that we selected previously. The status is not going to depend on the date. We can see no matter how much I change the date, the static attribute doesn't change. So it's going to be, as the name indicates, it's going to be static over time. It can depend on the layer. In this case, the static attributes that have been imported when the wells were created haven't been imported at the layer level. But if you can associate the static attributes to the layer level, so you can do that and have, for example, in this case of injector producer doesn't make much sense, but you could create a static attribute that depends on the layer. So other things, here we can add the references and see what each different symbol is. So we can do that as well. We can increase or decrease the size of the symbols that we are showing. In this case, let's leave it as 2. And something interesting that you can do is show rings here. In this case, you can show 2 different attributes. Always an static attribute on rings, but for example, what you could do is use the simulator here and add the status as a ring, and here we can see that we have reflected the simulator symbol with the static attribute of the rings, so you can see both information there. Something very useful that you can do, for example, is if you are planning to do new drilling, locations, you can, for example, use as rings the categories P1, 1P, 2P, 3P, and then add the symbols, for example, to which type well each different location is associated. So in that case, you can use this combination of symbols and rings to see 2 different attributes at the same time, maybe static or dynamic attributes. But remember that the rings always use static attributes. Here we can modify the thickness and radius of the rings, so that's something quite useful if you want to see several information at the same time. So now I'm going to unselect this and go back to the static status here. So yeah, those are some things that we can do with the static attributes on the map window. The static attributes can be used for other things. We can use them to filter as well, or to report them in the report window in view here reports. But that will be everything for this tutorial. In the next tutorial we will do something similar but with dynamic attributes. So thank you for watching and have a great day.